up, guys?
I'm Gabe.
And I'm Zach. Welcome back to Fantasy Family. We're going to quickly recap Week 10 and jump right into the Week 11 action. Gabe, who was the top point scorer this week?
Keenan Allen with 40 points. Number 2 was CeeDee Lamb with 39 points. Dak Prescott, number 3 with 38. Number 4 was Brandon Cooks with 32. And number 5 was Amon-Ra St. Brown with 30.
Wow. So you're telling me 3 of the top 5 were the Dallas Cowboys?
Mm-hmm.
But definitely one of them had to be Tony Pollard, right?
No.
Oh, Tony Pollard has turned out to just be a bust for the whole season, I think. But CeeDee Lamb was number 2 in PPR points, and Brandon Cooks was number 4 in PPR points. So the Dallas Cowboys offense is just really on fire. The Dallas Cowboys offense is just on fire, although they did play the New York Giants last week, so that's a big reason for their big offensive output. The next honorable mention, number 6, would have been TJ Hockenson, my tight end. Let's go.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, Gabe, let's jump into Week 11 action. Who is on bye?
The Falcons, the Colts, the Patriots, and the Saints.
Just think about your roster, who you might need to replace. Olave owners, Kamara owners, think about who you're going to start in place of those guys. In starting Bijan or Drake London or Kyle Pitts. Think about those guys, Jonnu Smith maybe. Not too many pieces in New England on most people's teams that are starters anyway. And for the Colts, if you have been playing Jonathan Taylor and Michael Pittman, those guys, think about who you want to fill in.
For the Thursday night football game, it's the Cincinnati Bengals at the Baltimore Ravens. For the Baltimore Ravens, Lamar Jackson and Mark Andrews, just a must-start every single week. Zay Flowers, probably start him. Gus Edwards, he's been pretty good, so probably start him. Odell Beckham, he caught a touchdown last week. Rashad Bateman's been pretty bad this year because of Zay Flowers, so don't start him. Keaton Mitchell, not bad at a start. You could start him with some, like if you got Bijan Robinson on the bye. Justice Hill, you might could start him if you got him, but his average is only 7.
For the Bengals, Joe Burrow continues to be consistent. Joe Mixon is still the Bengals' primary running back, so start him. Jamar Chase was down last week. He hurt his back in the previous week and was on and off the injury report through the week last week. So I think they may have had him on a little bit of a snap count, and he was being covered by a pretty good corner on
the Texans.
So Jamar Chase's targets were down last week, but hopefully he will be back to 100% next week. T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd are still fringe plays, and you may need them in deeper leagues or if you're trying to fill holes. So T. Higgins is most likely going to be out again this week, so that upgrades Tyler Boyd. Next up are the Sunday 1 o'clock games. There is no London game. There's no Germany game this week. So after Thursday night, your next game is Sunday at 1 p.m. The Steelers are playing at the Browns. For the Browns, Deshaun Watson is dealing with more injury issues. Right now, questionable.
Breaking news.
Breaking news, guys. Deshaun Watson is having season-ending shoulder surgery, so he will be out. They're thinking he will play Thursday, so just keep an eye on those injury reports. If he doesn't play, he'll probably start Amari Cooper, but nobody, maybe Njoku. But Amari Cooper's games with and without Deshaun Watson this year there's a big drop-off. So just pay attention to that and maybe think about having another option besides Amari Cooper. Jerome Ford and Kareem Hunt continue to split the Browns' backfield. Both are serviceable. Again, going to be between probably 12 and 16 points. You can play them, but you're just going to be that kind of mid-range RB2. Amari Cooper is a pretty good play when Deshaun Watson is playing, but if not, just manage your expectations. David Njoku has had several pretty good games, so at this point you would probably play him, and hopefully he has another good day.
For the Steelers, Kenny Pickett is trash. Don't start him. Najee Harris is startable. Probably start him. He got 18 points last week. Deontay Johnson, still start him even though we got 2.7 points last week. Joe Warren did pretty good last week. He got 19 points, so that's not bad. Pat Freiermuth might come back pretty soon, so be on the lookout for that. George Pickens hasn't been too good. His average is 12 points, so he might be good, he might not. Next matchup, Bears at Lions. For the Lions, almost everybody definitely start them. Amon-Ra St. Brown start. He's been really good. Jared Goff, probably start him. He's been pretty good. Jahmyr Gibbs has been really good lately, so start him too. David Montgomery, start him. Sam Laporta, start him. Josh Reynolds, stay away from him. He hasn't been too good. Davison Williams has also been bad, so don't start him. Don't start anybody in the Bears except DJ Moore, just say that.
For the Bears, Justin Fields still hasn't been activated from IR at the recording of this video, so just keep an eye on the injury report for him. He could be back this week, but just be on the lookout for his status. Deontay Foreman had a pretty good week last week, so I would start him. Khalil Herbert is unclear when he will be back. I would play DJ Moore, but if Bagent is the QB, don't expect too much. If Fields is back as QB, DJ Moore could have another big game. Cole Kmet has continued to be a really good tight end option. Put him in your starting lineup. The next game is the Chargers at the Packers. For the Packers, stay away from Jordan Love. Just not been very great. Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon are splitting the backfield almost straight down the middle. Both were right at 50% snap share last week, and both scored 9 fantasy points. So not great options. Christian Watson had only 2 catches on 7 targets, so his crummy year just continues. Romeo Doubs and Jaden Reed are very low-end options, but you might need them in a spot. And Jaden Reed occasionally can score a handful of points. He gets touchdowns here and there, so maybe start him if you're really desperate. Luke Musgrave is only the 22nd ranked tight end in the NFL, so he's only had 2 games over 10 points, so not a great option.
For the Chargers, Austin Eckler, start him. Justin Herbert, start him. Keenan Allen, start him if he plays because he's questionable. Quentin Johnson remains not a very good play, although he did have 13 points last week, which is still not very good, so don't start Quentin Johnson unless you're desperate. Same for Jalen Guyton. Next matchup, Raiders at Dolphins. For the Dolphins, pretty much everybody. Tyreek Hill, start him every week. Tua Tagovailoa, start him every week. Jalen Waddle, pretty solid start. You probably should start him. He's been pretty good. Devon Achane's probably going to be back this week. Raheem Mostert is also questionable.
The Raiders, stay away from Raiders quarterbacks. I'm pretty sure Aiden O'Connell is going to continue to be the starter there, but even if Jimmy G were to come back, I would stay away from both of those guys. Play Josh Jacobs always. Play Devontae Adams. He had a much better game this week. Play Jacoby Myers. Not a great performance last week, but that was to be expected against a very tough Jets defense. Jacoby Myers should have much better luck this week against the Dolphins. Michael Mayer was up to 5 targets this week, which is decent volume for a rookie tight end, but still not really scoring enough points to be a viable starter. Just keep your eye on him for the future. The next game is Giants at Commanders. This could be a 3-0 slugfest. The Giants, like we've said the past several weeks, stay away from everybody except Saquon Barkley.
The Commanders, Sam Howell, he's been pretty good. Probably start Sam Howell because he's been really good. Last week he got 24 points. His average is 18. Terry McLaurin, he's pretty good. Sorry him, even though he had a 7-point game last week. Brian Robinson Jr. was pretty good last week. He got 27.
The top running back last week, wasn't he?
Yep. Curtis Samuel, stay away from him because he hasn't been very good. Con Dotson hasn't been very good either.
Yeah, how was Dotson's week last week?
0.
Goose egg.
Logan Thomas, he hasn't been bad, so you might could start him. Antonio Gibson, stay away from him. He's been bad. Next matchup, Cowboys at Panthers. For the Panthers, Adam Thielen, obviously start him every week. Bryce Young, been bad, don't start him. Chuba Hubbard, been pretty bad, so don't start him. Pretty much Adam Thielen's the only must start.
For For the Cowboys, you have tons of options on the Cowboys. Their offense is just really clicking. Dak Prescott had another great week, so start him as your quarterback. Tony Pollard is the big disappointment on this team. Rico Dowdle had a better week than him. He got a goal line carry for a touchdown in garbage time at the end of that game against the Giants. I guess Tony Pollard has made Jerry Jones mad or something because he's just not getting the work that he should.
Still starting now.
Start CeeDee Lamb. He's probably going to be the wide receiver 1 for the year this year. Hopefully he can stay healthy and just continue to put up great numbers. Brandon Cooks is becoming a pretty decent option, especially in deeper leagues or 3 wide receiver leagues. You can play Brandon Cooks, and hopefully Dak continues to get him the ball. And play Turd Ferguson. The next game is Titans at Jaguars. For the Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence is coming off a pretty bad week, only 4 fantasy points. He's normally pretty consistent around that 13 to 15 point range, not a whole lot of ceiling above that. So he should be somewhat back to normal. Not great. Travis Etienne also had a bad game last week, so expect him to bounce back in a big way. Start him. The Jaguars receiving core is not much to write home about. Calvin Ridley continues to disappoint. Another bad week from him. Zay Jones was arrested and released this week, so who knows what his status is going to be. He could be looking at a suspension at some point. So Christian Kirk is the only reliable option. Calvin Ridley could absolutely go out and score 25 to 30 points, but he most likely will not. So Christian Kirk is the only reliable wide receiver that I would start for the Jaguars. Let's start Evan Ingram.
For the Titans, Derrick Henry, start him every week. He hasn't been very good, so not as good as he was last year. Still start him. Will Levis is still maybe good, may not be good. So if you got him, probably don't start him. DeAndre Hopkins, probably don't start him. Tajay Spears, stay away from him. Treylon Burks is out. The final 1 o'clock game is Arizona Cardinals at the Houston Texans. For the Cardinals, Kyler Murray's back. He was pretty good last week with 17 points. Been pretty good. If you got him, probably start him. Marquise Brown's been pretty good. Probably start him too, even though he only got 3 points last week. James Conner's back. Trey McBride, he did pretty good last week with 21 points. Rondale Moore hasn't been very good.
One note about Rondale Moore, some people are thinking he might be an interesting player to stash on your bench and see how he does. He might become a pretty good receiver with Kyler Murray back under center. For the Texans, C.J. Stroud has absolutely entered the MVP talks. We won't get it, but he has had an outstanding rookie year. He is definitely a very startable quarterback. Dameon Pierce may or may not be back this week, but even if he's back, I would start Singletary above Pierce. Singletary seems to be playing better. He has the coaching staff's confidence, so start Singletary, and I would stay away from the rest of the Texans running backs. And I was very high on Pierce coming into this year. Nico Collins may be back this week, so just keep an eye on his status. If he's in, play him.
No, Brown's good game was not a fluke. And I thought it was going to be wrong. I said that it was probably a fluke last week.
Noah Brown is an interesting option, especially if Nico Collins is out again this week. He is probably startable. Tank Dell is startable as much as C.J. Stroud is throwing the ball. And keep an eye on Robert Woods. Hasn't really come around yet, but an experienced veteran that could definitely come on the scene as we head into the fantasy playoffs. Start Dalton Schultz. He continues to have a good year. Clock game is
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the San Francisco 49ers. For the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Baker Mayfield, if you got him, he's been really good lately. Probably start him. Mike Evans also start. He's been good. He got 26 points last week. Rashad White, these last 2 weeks have been amazing for him. He's been getting some touchdowns. Chris Godwin, also another pretty good start, so probably start him too. K. Dotton, probably don't start him. He hasn't been very good.
for the 49ers. Brock Purdy continues to be a pretty good option, about the 11th or 12th ranked quarterback. In most leagues, you're probably going to be using him as your starting QB. Always start Christian McCaffrey. His touchdown streak finally ended last week, but still the number 1 running back in fantasy football. Deebo Samuel had a great week last week in his first week back after missing time. Brandon Ayuk is a really good option for a wide receiver 2 or flex. As always, play George Kittle.
For the next matchup, the Jets at the Bills. For the Bills, pretty much everyone's starting them. Josh Allen start him. Stephon Diggs start him. James Cook start him. He's been pretty good. Dalton Kincaid, he caught a touchdown last week, so he's been pretty good. Gabe Davis,
They're going against the Jets, so
yeah.
all these are tough matchups. Still, you got to start Stephon Diggs, but he might do okay. But especially after the bad loss against the Broncos on Monday Night Football last week, the Bills will be hoping to bounce back in a big way. But tough matchups for these Bills wide receivers against the Jets secondary.
You probably don't start Latavius Murray. He did have 14 points last week.
The Jets continue to be only a two-man show for fantasy purposes. Stay away from Zach Wilson at the QB spot. Play Breece Hall, still getting lots of volume. Play Garrett Wilson. Insane target share, even though the offense doesn't move the ball very much, doesn't score touchdowns very much. The final 4 p.m. game is Seahawks at Rams. The Seahawks, Geno Smith is not a great option. You could do worse, but he just hasn't been real consistent this year. Kenneth Walker is still a must start. Zach Charbonnet was getting more and more snaps, but Kenneth Walker is still getting way more carries than he is. Kenneth Walker got a receiving touchdown last week, so still getting a little passing game work. So Kenneth Walker is still the clear starter and RB1 on this team, but Charbonnet is getting more and more snaps. The big two Seattle receivers, Lockett and DK, showed this week that they are still elite wide receivers in the NFL. Start Lockett and DK. JSN is a very interesting option. He's put up pretty decent numbers. So he's an option in deeper leagues.
For the Rams, Cooper Kupp, start him every week. He's been pretty good. His average is 13. Puka Nuka, that's what I call him. Puka Nuka. You probably know who I mean. Puka Nakua. He's pretty good. Probably start him. Matthew Stafford might be back this week. Darrell Henderson has been decent. I could start him in deeper leagues. Kyron Williams might be back pretty soon. Tutu Atwell, don't start him either. He's been bad. Next up for the Sunday night football game, the Vikings at Broncos. For the Vikings, Joshua Dobbs has been really good these last few weeks. So probably start him. Justin Jefferson should be back pretty soon. When he is, start him every week, obviously. TJ Hawkinson, he's really good. 30 points last week. Definitely start him. Ty Chandler, not a bad option because Alexander Madison might be out next week.
So the concussion?
Yeah, I believe so. Madison will probably not be playing this next Sunday. Ty Chandler might do good. Addison, he's been pretty good. Start him.
For the Broncos, Russell Wilson is still a very serviceable quarterback. He's a 13th or 14th ranked quarterback. Javonte Williams, really good week last week, so he's become the RB1 in Denver. So play Javonte Williams. Jerry Jeudy was disappointing last week. Cortland Sutton showed out. At this point, Sutton is a better play than Jeudy. The Monday Night Football game that we've been waiting for all year, Eagles at Chiefs.
Can't wait.
Can't wait.
The redo of Super Bowl 57. I know, he is. For the Chiefs, most of the people, Patrick Mahomes has been really good, probably start him. Travis Kelce, start him, he's really good. Isaiah Pacheco, start him. Rashee Rice has not been bad, he's averaging 10 points. Maybe start him if you're in a deeper league.
The Eagles, Jalen Hurts is still carrying a questionable tag, but he had the bye week, so hopefully he'll be healthy and ready to go this week. Play DeAndre Swift, play A.J. Brown, play Devontae Smith. Dallas Goedert is most likely having surgery soon, so I don't know that any of the other tight end options in Philadelphia are worth considering.
Albert Aquagaboom.
All right, that wraps up our preview for Week 11. Did we miss anybody? Let us know down in the comments.
See ya! Make sure to like and subscribe and follow us on social media. See ya!
Remember guys, be strong and courageous. Do not be discouraged. Do not be afraid. The New York Giants.
Yeah. Wait, are you sure? sure J.K. Dobbins is out for this.
Don't buy it this week.
Okay. And Justin Hill. Don't put that in the bloopers either.
David Njoku. Come on, man.
What does efficient mean? Your mom.
Alright, chill out. Chill. The neck. You done, pretty boy?
What? Give me focus back.
What's up, guys?
Michael Mayer's poop, so stay away from him. Austin Pooper.
We're done with the
everybody,
Giants.
Don't start. We have the Christmas tree in the way. I can show you it real quick.
Okay.
There it is. I'm sorry. Chikazum Okongwu. Be quiet, Alexa. No, don't say that.
Him. Chill.
Alexa, stop.
Thank you.
Yeah, they're playing. It's run, Rudolph, run. Run, Rudolph.
See chickens or rams?
Just to let you know, guys, I'm probably not going to say the Broncos ever again from what happened last week with me saying Jaleel McLaughlin.
Play DeAndre Swifts.
Grant?
Gabunum.
No, Albert. That's Albert.
Gabunum.
No, but
Chickens on the front porch.
don't forget to like and subscribe.